coaching. We are going to roll back into laser coaching and just a little bit more Q&A since we didn't have a ton of time for that today. We're going to give a kiss to Megan because Megan's got another appointment, and thank you to the coaches for being here. And I can stay on for a while longer. So if you're able to stay on, stay on. If you can't stay on, this recording will get posted as well if you're curious what happens in this incognito Q&A session. And I promised I was going to roll back around to Jennifer. So let's start with that and we'll go from there. Jennifer, what you got?
Thanks, Sage. I'm going to try not give you any backstory.
I don't mind a little bit. It's always so much more useful when you actually know what your question is.
All right. So my question is about my mid-year pivot. Stepping in with Deborah, when we stepped in, I had said, I already have a weddings website. I'm doing ceremony. I'm marrying people. Let's do this for a few months. And then I want to pivot into the end of life study, the grief study, right? Something else. And when I talked to you, you're like, okay, let's just up your prices for weddings. What just happened is like weddings 2020 got canceled.
I know, right? I'm like, who's marrying people online right now? Because you might be able to make a killing.
So, there's like, so I've been, how, I don't know, someone was just saying, yeah, I'm a workhorse or what. I'm like, I am just not a workhorse. I've been like in a puddle of freeze a little bit. I just was like, the pandemic hit, weddings got canceled. And I was just like, I can't do it, and I also fell in love in January. So I have this new amazing love, and my son has no preschool. So I have my 5-year-old all the time. And it's just, he's always on a screen. It's just like Oprah. You get screen time. You get screen time. Everyone, we're just all on screens all the time. So just kind of, but I'm also feeling that there's like a really deep shift in my bones. Like on the molecular mineral level, I'm being rebuilt. So I'm wanting to allow a little space for that. One thing, so I need to build a Facebook group. So I guess I can focus my question on the building of a group. I've been trying to get back on sending e-newsletters to the community that I built, my wellness community. I'm feeling a lot of passion there are a few of us in the group that I'm like, want to help them with their programs. My cousin is getting married and she's paying me for my full rate of weddings. And what I'm doing with her and her partner is testing out the 6-month-long couples deep dive. So, I'm just looking at continuing now with a couple soulmate 6-month program of really getting your internal compass set so that you can be a better partner. Yeah. So all the things that I know as a yoga teacher, massage therapist, dancer, breath work, just working with each partner on dial in your own practice.
And I'm just curious if you, by the way, my internet's doing something kind of funky. Jill, I'm going to just make you the co-host since you're so steadfast and have been, just in case my internet goes funky. So Jennifer, I'm just curious if the quarantine were to be lifted tomorrow and you could be getting paid, great money to do weddings starting in August, or I could wave my magic wand and give you a community of people who are looking for conscious love in their relationships, right? The couples support, the couples deep dive support. Would you still be interested in launching that couples support training program, even if your weddings, even if you could do weddings again, in a few weeks?
Yeah. And I feel like
you're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's all I needed to know, because I think it's definitely, there's so few really robust online programs to support couples. There are so few. They're not it's needed. there's a gap in the industry around
Mm-hmm.
support for couples. And especially during this time, it's a great time to launch it because couples are underneath a set of challenges that they normally wouldn't be, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
You're still here, right? Like I could see a video of it's like, you're still here in my house. I have had no space from my husband or wife or partner,
Right.
you know?
Right.
So I think you could do a really good job of this right now, and you can launch it right now. And then when the quarantine's lifted, it's like, this is just about deep lasting love.
Yeah. And I mean, it's helpful that I'm in love now because that's helpful. Deborah has asked me, Deborah's my coach, and she's like, would you consider yourself a couples coach? And I don't feel I have any qualifications as a couples coach. um,
Is it more around
you know,
soulmate? Is it more around finding love?
no, I mean, like what I feel like I need to do is really narrow in on my signature story. Like, I feel like I'm like way back, like I'm pre-ELA, like I'm not, I'm like in like, what the hell am I doing?
Have
Moment.
you picked back up the niche, the message clarity workbook lately? Have you picked that back up and like done the brainstorming exercise where you just like go through and start brainstorming? Like, if I worked with women that were looking for a partner, here's what they
Well,
might.
I guess the niche, I'm wondering if it's too niche down to work with couples who've gone through loss. Like, have you lost
Yeah.
a family member and
Yeah.
you're wanting to hold.
I don't think you want to niche down that
Yeah,
much, but
yeah.
but you could also work with people who have been through loss, and then you will attract some couples. You could, I
Mm-hmm,
mean, it's going to be a very important body of work moving forward.
mm-hmm,
Trauma release work, grief work. It's going to be very important moving forward because I don't actually believe that this is the first pandemic that most of us are going to live through. Like
yeah,
I sort of feel like, we're entering into a time where the carrying capacity of the earth has been highly exceeded. There,
yeah,
we are
yeah,
living on a planet that is
yeah,
now compromised. And so we now are going to be rising up and helping others usher in a time of major change. And this is one wave of what we will likely see in the next several decades, where we are going to have to teach people how to navigate loss, how to grieve, how to heal, how to lead at a totally next level. Would you guys agree?
yeah,
You know? So
yeah.
you've got some major chops in the grief conversation.
Yeah, and what I've been doing, the thread that I've been holding the last 2 years is this dream dancing practice that, I just put together a Zoom call last week and 15 people showed up and it was incredible. And it was like dream dancing with the ancestors.
I love that.
And I mean, like it was like virtual dreaming circle. People were like heavy hitters, like priestesses from
Yeah.
Canada and Hawaii were like, I want to be on your call, and it
Yeah.
was as powerful as it was in person. And, we that's what I started doing in February, is then putting an altar together and everyone brought a photo of the person that they lost. And we called in the directions and called in the names of the ancestors. And, it just, and then I could bring in all the creativity and poetry and we moved and we sang and,
Jennifer, this is giving me goosebumps.
that's my thing. So it's just like,
Yeah.
well, who do I do that for? Couples, people that have had
I
someone
wouldn't worry. I wouldn't
like,
worry about that. You're doing that for anybody that wants to be in touch with the ancestral wisdom, for anybody who's lost a loved one, right? I mean,
right.
what if your Facebook group was ancestral wisdom? Navigating loss of a loved one, navigating that which came before you, right? Weaving in weaving in the deep wisdom, and to do these weekly ceremonies around pulling that wisdom through and honoring grief and teaching people about grief.
Mm-hmm.
And then you potentially have like a 6-month grief navigation reset program, or a transform your grief into life. Each of
Right.
you is living your Shiro's journey right now. We are each living our Shiro's journey. It is our opportunity to literally like rescue ourselves from that which we would fall into if we didn't have the light of our purpose and our livelihood and our heart and our passion. And the spiritual mentorship that's needed right now is so huge. How would that resonate? Some kind of an ancestral wisdom Facebook group where you did the grief work and you did some ceremony. And the thing that I was coaching Kim Lee to do around when she does her sound healings, that she does the teaching before and the teaching at the end.
Yeah.
That's going to be important for you too if you're taking people into any kind of a ceremonial or a ritualistic or a sharing kind of a space,
Right.
that you really sandwich that with your wisdom and the teachings and perhaps the spiritual steps to healthy grief process. And then you can make your offer for a grief breakthrough session for those of you that are navigating grief and may need extra support at this delicate time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. I still need to do some clearing work about, like making money with the title Reverend, and then, the world of grief, and like, here's my 1 year program and it's grief work and it's $397 a month. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just
yeah.
like
What's
like,
the dialogue in your mind? Like, who do you think you are, or how dare you charge for this? Or like, what's it say?
yeah, I mean, I had a woman who's like been following me for, I don't know, 7 years or something, in my e-newsletter, and, wrote me this long letter like, oh, I love following all your personal posts, but, I don't want to get any offers, because I had like promoted another person's thing, that was like $99 or something. And I had put it in there. And I mean, I just feel like, because I guess my inner dialogue is like, well, my mentors and my teachers are always like, no one turned away.
Yep. So here's what's true. You can have a place where there's nobody turned away. It's called your Facebook group, right? And I think it's so beautiful that you want to make sure there is a place where people can come where nobody's turned away. Right? And I so admire you and acknowledge the one in you that is inclusive. And I also want to acknowledge those of you who, let's just hold our hands up to Jennifer for a moment. Give her a kiss. I want to acknowledge those of you. How many of you guys have spiritual teachers that basically part of the reason you are who you are is because of a spiritual teacher? And maybe that spiritual teacher doesn't charge or charges very, 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 very little. So I just want us to honor that there's a lot of different paths to giving your spiritual gifts. And there are people that have been born into money so that they can give their spiritual gift. There have been people who have a partner who makes the money so that they can give their spiritual gift. Okay, this is all true. You look out at the world. Here's part of what happens. Some people are giving their spiritual gift living on a shoestring, living in the home they inherited from their mom. Let's just talk in practical terms for a moment. Most of you who are here, you were actually born into a life where you need to make money. That's a part of your reality. It's actually a part of your spiritual reality. And so if the universe had wanted something different from you, you would have been born into something different. Hear what I'm saying. The process of opening up to having levels of your business where you do charge is going to be a part of your spiritual path moving forward, because this is what you were born into, right? And so I've done deep work around that myself. I know many of you are continuing to do deep work. Raise your hand if you've done some work around that yourself and you're continuing to. So I want you to know, Jennifer, that we're right here with you. When I got to spend some time one-on-one with Reverend Michael Beckwith, he was trained in all the same, new thought, new age, spiritual wisdom that another woman I know was trained in, who is every bit as dynamic and incredible as Reverend Michael, but nobody knows who she is. because she's never stepped out and asked for anything in exchange for her services. Does that make sense? She's helping a few hundred people. Reverend Michael's helping millions of people. So I'm not saying one's better than the other, but what I'm saying is Reverend Michael and I talked about this dynamic of, I was like, well, like, what did it take to move into a place where you're charging? You can go watch Reverend Michael every Sunday morning for free. But he has courses that are $97 a month, $47 a month, retreats that are $5,000. I've been on one of them, right? So people pay for different levels, right? And so that's what's going to afford you the ability to keep giving your gift. Mm-hmm. The other thing is that we're not living at the same time in history as many of our spiritual teachers were. So we're actually living in a time where there's more consumerism, there's more robust economy, versus some of our spiritual teachers got started before the internet took off. And so in this day and age, when people pay, they pay attention. Mm. And so there's also the value that people get out of making an investment like that, right? In the same way that you've invested in leverage. So I sort of feel like it would be almost unethical for you to not have a level where people could have more time with you. Does that make sense? Yeah. People can come be with you once a week, no charge, but it would almost be selling out on your gift to not have a way that people could get more hand-holding from you. Mm-hmm. And what's cool is that when you're on the phone, once you have your basic $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month, once you have what you need, you guys, it's 100% okay if you're on the phone with somebody who really needs this and just can't get there, to give them a partial scholarship, and that's what you will get to be able to afford to do when you have a robust business that's creating the revenue. So what do you think? You don't have a Facebook group yet?
I mean, I have do I have Facebook? No, I don't think I have. I'm like, do I? No, I have three business pages.
What do you guys think of Ancestral Wisdom for a Facebook group title? Those of you that are listening, do you guys like that? Just give me a thumbs up if you like it. If Jennifer was doing grief trainings or, ancestral ceremonies or some kind of a weekly give into that group, I think that would be powerful. A great place to start potentially. And I know some women here that would actually be wonderful guest experts to come on as interviews. We've got women here who are specialists in angels and spiritual wisdom and wellness and all kinds of things that community could probably benefit from as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good next step.
I think so.
Okay. I'm going to leave you there, and I'm going to remind you guys that the best way to get niche clarity is to go try some stuff on for a few weeks. Do you know what I mean? Just like you did that Zoom call for 15 people and they showed up and it was amazing. And some big players showed up and you got that validation. So if that's not validation, I don't know what is.
So what about dream dancing with the ancestors? Too long? Cause I would be psyched every day to talk about dream work and
then go for it. And let your metaphysical part out of the closet and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big part of the reason why we have women here that are super successful is because they're training priestesses and helping people, understand the goddesses and doing work with their temple bodies. And for those of you guys that are super metaphysical, I say, go all the way. Dream dancing with the ancestors. But when you make your offer, I want you to get really grounded in practical results and benefits. Okay. And practice that with your coach.
Okay.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Will you create the group and post it in the Leverage Facebook group so that we can all join it? Yeah. Kiss for Jennifer. Mwah.
Thank you guys.
And you guys, for any of you that have taken a minute, the pandemic hit and it's been important for you to take a minute to just stop and do some reflection and have stillness, awesome. I just want you guys to know it's 100% appropriate, when that yearning comes to just take a little bit of silence before you go back into creation. It's so appropriate. So I want to love up any of you that have been in that All right, let's get Valerie some support. Botazi, how can we support you? And remember to start with your question.
Thank you for that. Also, because I have a client discovery call at 12:30. My question, what I need support with, is a specific question of the offer I'm going to do on my second 3-day online training that I'm going to repeat at the end of this month. I just came out last week. I did a 3-day training. A lot of wins there and a lot of not so many wins, because many of the people were from South Africa and Argentina, and the exchange rate has really struggled for them. So even though 4 of them want to join my program, I really need to give big scholarships or else they can't join. So my thought is, I'm being called, since this is my first program ever, and for now I have 6 people there, is to do it, to consider it more of a beta 1-year long program, to do it, to put all the material there, to get my training, to get eventually 6 testimonials, to get my muscle, so that when I offer it again, I feel stronger about it, and in terms of what I can give as the transformation. Having said that, I don't want to wait for a full year to offer this. So my thought, based on everything I heard here today, and this is my question here, is what if when I redo this 3-day training, which is called Awakening Bootcamp, I have it now all done because I just redid it. So it should be easier, right? In terms of being present in the training as a channel, but all the work is already done in PowerPoint and all of that. What if I offer, again, like a 6-week training, but not as a replacement to the long one, but as a funnel, kind of like you do events that changes lives. Like I've never been there, like I joined you directly on Leverage, but something that I can sell for a much lower number, so that people can say yes in an easier way. And that then those people I offer, then why don't you join me for the long year program? And I launched the long year program maybe in 3 months instead of in a year from now. Like I carry it parallel, and I want your thoughts on this.
Absolutely. And I think it comes down to your financial situation. If you have a little bit of a cushion, then you can, it's really going to be up to you. And did you say that you already have 6 people?
Yeah.
You already have 6 people in a how long of a program?
1 year, starting April 20th, next Monday.
But sweetheart, you can put more people into that program all the way through the end of May.
So you recommend that I keep offering that program in my next 3-day live training?
The easiest. Okay. That's the easiest money you'll make all year long.
Okay.
Because once you're already doing a program,
Okay.
You want to go through the finish line. When you guys have opened doors to a year-long program or a 6-month program, you guys want to go through the finish line and keep enrolling all the way through like month 2. And you can give people an awesome deal. You can be like, hey, everybody started, but don't worry, we still have all these months together. I'm going to actually give you, waive the down payment, give people the first month complimentary if they're coming in halfway through the first month. Just collect their second month's payment. They'll feel like they're getting the deal of the century, and then you've got to catch them up,
Awesome. I'm so glad I asked then, because I was about to offer the smaller thing. So thank you for answering.
Yeah. I could totally see you going out and getting 4 more people in there. And then you'd have like 10 people strong in that program. And that leading those people, it's going to change your life, Valerie, because leading 10 people.
Awakening training was amazing.
Yeah, you will never look back. You know, to get to nurture people all year long. I mean, the energy you guys feel on these calls, it's so different than what happens in Events That Change Lives or in Women Rocking the Stage, the 90-day program. I mean, what we create over there is magical, but it's not like this. Wouldn't you guys agree that have been through it? And I mean, when people are in for a year, the relationships are so much deeper.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Thank
Kiss
you.
for Valerie. Go rock that discovery session.
Yes, I am. Bye.
All right, Deb Rubin, you've had your hand up for a while. How can I support you?
Hi, thanks. My question is around the 3 tiers of having 3 tiers to offer. And I'd love your input on helping me get clear on which of my offerings go in what tiers.
Great. So yeah, let me know what you have going right now and what you're charging for each level.
Okay. So I have my top tier would be one-on-one clients, and I'm actually charging different things. So I have 2 clients that are paying $9.97 a month, and they're with me for a year. And one of them is getting out of pain, and one of them is basically building her business, the embodied artistry, kind of starving artist business. Then I have most of my private clients paying $6.97 a month. That is for, well, that's actually in a group program that I have called Nourish and Thrive, which is a 6-month program, but they've all been with me for like at least 6 months before then. So I kind of funneled them into, and that is for 1 group call and 2 or 3 one-on-ones a month, plus the private Facebook group. So the old school people are getting 3 one-on-ones and 1 group call, and newer people are getting that 2. And I have 6 women in that. And then I have one-on-one clients that are some paying me $6.97 a month for 3 sessions, some paying me $4.99 a month for 2 sessions a month.
Great. Okay, great. I can totally, you basically described like how my business was like 8 years ago or something. Like I can totally relate to just like, as you bring people in, you raise your rates a little bit, and then you've got people all over the place. Raise your hand if you can relate to that. So at some point it's going to be super important to streamline this. And I have a couple ideas of how you can do that, but yeah, keep going.
So, that's like my private clients. This is like the Sage model, me trying to put the Sage model onto the other stuff with private clients. And then I have a movement certification program. It's called Dance Therapeutics, Movement Mastery, that is a 4-level training and certification program that's offered in like week-long modules. And I have about 150 people through the level 1 from the years beyond. And I was starting the level 2s this March in Chicago, but we had to postpone that. So I have this training program that seems to be the hot ticket. This seems to be like where most people buy in first. And then the lower rung below that is like my workshops and retreats and online. I have an online school, and I also now I'm doing live Zoom classes, and those are like the online school is, $25 for the month of like content. It's all pre-recorded content. So there's that. And then I have like the one-off workshops.
Yeah.
$30 for this.
So what are you charging for the dance therapy certification?
It's not dance therapy. And this is part of what I need that I'm working on, is changing the name, because a lot of people, I'm not doing a good job of titling it, because it's not using dance as therapy. It's Dance Therapeutics, Movement Mastery, which is basically pulling from the ancient wisdom of yoga and the modern wisdom of somatics and fascia research and unwinding, unlocking trauma, get out of pain, learn your anatomy, applied to the dance technique and performance and stage. So I need to change the title. That the level 1, which is 20 hours, is about $495-ish. The level 2 is 30 hours, and it's $750.
Awesome. Okay. So you have your certification program that's between $495 and $750.
Well, the certification program is 4 levels with a teacher training track. So the whole program, if you go through the whole program, will be about $2,000.
Okay. But you can start with the abbreviated version for like $495.
That's the level 1, is like the initial.
Got it.
$495.
Okay. So I am going to do my best to track with everything that you've created.
I know, it's a lot.
So let's just give a kiss to the amazing creative power that allows us all to create in the way that you have, Deb. So when I see business models like this, what I really would love to encourage you to do is to start to simplify and streamline across the board, right? Because you're working quite hard to just balance all of the different things that you've set in motion, right? There's a lot of hours that go into just maintaining, right?
Yeah.
So What if you had, I mean, do you still feel good about certification being like your lower level program, like some kind of a level 1 certification? Do you feel good about that being an entry point?
Yeah, I mean, the entry point is actually below that. The entry point is usually in like just a workshop or a class or a weekend training or performance intensive. Most people come to me through the dance network, and
Yeah.
then doing the transformation piece of like the what is possible through that. So I do feel good about that. And my idea is to, in the year-long program that I want to kind of develop, it's like, yes, these dance therapeutics level 1 and level 2 might actually be bonuses, because if somebody's investing $12,000 in a year, to give them $1,000 bonus if you get certified in level 1, level 2. So I want to make those part of the year-long thing, because it gets the technical piece in there.
Yep, I 100% agree. I was going to say, if someone invests with you for a year, do they get, that was one of my questions, do they get everything?
They can.
And I think that would be super hot to have like a $10,000 or $12,000 level where people invest for the year and they get everything. And then we also want to start pulling out a lot of your private coaching from that model, because you know, when you're doing all the private coaching yourself, there's only so much you can grow, right? So over time, you know, you've got like your Nourish and Thrive program, you've got people that get one group call a month and 2 to 3 one-on-ones a month. And so over time, I would encourage you to evolve that into 2 group calls a month and only 1 session with you per month, one individual session with you per month, as a way of continuing. Because there's 2 goals when you guys, for every single one of you that have different levels and have clients in at different things, there's 2 things we want to look at. Number 1, we want to look at streamlining things so that each program builds, right? When women join Women Rocking the Stage, our 90-day program, it's $1,000. They immediately get access to anything that we're doing that's less than that. So they get access to our Niche Clarity program. If I do a little Facebook challenge that costs $17, we just give them access. They just spent $1,000 with us. That's just generous, right? When people join Leverage, you guys automatically get access to almost everything we've created. You know, you get access to our bonus courses and things like that. So as you guys are creating, I invite you to definitely like include the lower level programs in the upper level programs whenever you can. The other thing that we want to start to look at is we want to start to look at pulling your private time out of these programs and providing more group support, so that you have more time to work on your business rather than in your business, so you can reach more people and scale more, right? So, in this configuration, you would have your sort of certification levels, and then you'd have your Nourish and Thrive program, and then you'd have like your year-long embodied artistry program. Does it make sense to have those 3 as the levels? That's kind of where I need your expertise, right?
It's a good question. I feel like the Nourish and Thrive is going to actually just morph into the year-long program. Because basically what I did was I was rocking the grow conversation, and I kind of was just enrolling people into whatever they wanted because I needed the money. And so now it's like, oh, okay, next step. How do I streamline this? So the Nourish and Thrive will kind of become part of the program. And I would like to just funnel those people, like that ends in June, but I want to re-enroll them into something. So I'm not so worried about that track, actually. What I'm more curious about is like, because my strength, but also my weakness is I go big vision. And
yes.
And then I'm like, too many things. So so for that big program, it's like, what is something that is like the dance therapeutics track has its own legs, and I'm getting actually hosted for those. And so I don't have to do as much of the business marketing for it. But it's bringing me people that I'm in front of. So what I'd like to do is use that to enroll in.
Because dance therapeutics leads straight into embodied artistry, right?
Yeah, the dance therapeutics gives them more than they even knew was possible about their body. But then it's like, okay, what are we going to do with that? And then what? And then
Yeah. I would focus on those two levels, your dance therapeutics and your embodied artistry. And one thing that you may want to think about is having a couple of levels, like a $697 a month level and a $997 a month level, because to some degree, you may be, especially in the dance community, you may be excluding people that want to be with you for the year if you only have the $997 a month. Do you know what I mean? And I want all of you guys to think like that. It's like, instead of just charging as much as we can possibly charge, how do we ask the question, right? What's the right dollar amount that people can invest in and stretch a little bit versus blowing some people out where they're just a no, I need to go make some money first, and then they go away forever. So what do you think about that?
I love that. And my one follow-up question to that is then where does it fit in? Like I was thinking first tier, kind of like with you have your Women Rocking Business Facebook group, big thing. And then you also have Women Rocking the Stage and these shorter things. And then you have ELA, Leverage, and Lotus. In the dance world, and this is something I'm struggling with how to move out away from, because I super get all the reasons why I'm with you on the why. It's hard to shift out of that model where I do have an online school with tons of pre-recorded content, and I do now offer live Zoom classes because people want those little buy-ins. But so I want to stay relevant because that's how people know me. But where does that fit in on the tiers?
Yeah, so all your little buy-ins can just live in your keep in touch. I mean, we're starting to charge a little bit of money for our keep in touch too. You'll notice we're starting to do Facebook challenges where we charge a little bit just to see if we get more qualified people, to see if we have, we're just testing it out. Do we have better results with 500 people that paid versus 2,000 people that didn't pay? And we're going to be reporting back the whole time. I have colleagues that are proving either model. Like I have colleagues that make more when they charge $10, and I have colleagues that make more when it's free. So it's really more about your alignment. It's about personal preference. For some of us, it's also just about technical know-how. Like one of the things I learned more than ever when my event got canceled was people aren't attached to the method I'm using to teach. And I really hope that this can infiltrate every single one of your subconscious minds. Like in this moment, every single one of you, it does not matter what method you choose to teach. We would have made $1 million at our event. Well, we just made 870,000 online, right? There's not that much of a gap there for us right now. I have some colleagues who are not doing as well with their virtual events, but I really believe the reason our virtual event worked was because of the infusion of energy we know how to provide to anybody that we're leading. Yeah. Myself and the coaches. I didn't lead that whole thing alone. I have colleagues saying to me, how in the hell did you pull off a 3-day event and you were teaching alone all day, every day? I was like, I wasn't alone. I had Megan with me. I had Claire Zammit with me. I had Ocean Robbins with me. Like we are doing the collaboration thing over here. And, that's just a part of what we stand for. And so it's like you, Deb, the reason why you're one of the few women who has a successful online business that's based in movement and dance and, these incredible artistic parts of yourself. You're already successful. So you've proven that people want this. Yes, do your little buy-ins because it's qualifying people, right? Now you know who to get on the phone with because they've bought in for $25, right? And then streamline the rest of it so that you have 2 or 3 levels, because you can absolutely get to the point. Right now you have 12 or so people in those higher levels at once. You can have 100. There's no question in my mind. And I'm excited about the possibility to continue to get you there.
Thank you. How much time do you spend in the lower levels? Like all my time right now is going into the marketing for the online classes, which is a sliding scale 5 to 25. Like it's such a low price point, but right now while everyone's at home, like it just feels like all my time is going into that. And I'm curious if you have a suggestion of like, I'm imagining you're very strategic about this. So I'm wondering like what the percentage of like,
well, what you guys are going to want to do is one of the reasons why we're really adamant that you guys get to that, 5, 8, 10, 12, Deb, you're there, you're running a 6-figure business. You want to make sure you have somebody on your team that can hold the marketing vision. So when I sit down and I describe the whole vision for the Facebook challenge to Jen Sebastian, and she's literally making a project plan as I'm telling her my vision, right? She's like an integrator. So you want to have somebody on your team who can really hold those pieces and move all of that forward so that you're not spending all your time there.
great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Kiss for you. Mwah. All right. Sylvia just texted me and reminded me to tell you guys that many of you have been asking what's different about Leverage this year. So let me just give you the quick rundown. We're just tracking what works online. We're tracking what is working. So we're going to be bringing in Facebook ads expert this summer. We're going to be bringing in training on membership. I'm partnering up with Ocean Robbins to train you guys on membership models so you can learn what it would take and at what point in your business would you want to launch something that was like $97 a month or $47 a month, like a membership model. We're also providing mindset support through Claire Zamet's program. So for those of you that are staying in Leverage another year, you'll get access by May 15th or so to some of your bonus courses, which include lifetime access to Ocean Robbins membership program, access to Claire Zamet's mindset success program. It's called Feminine Power Mindset something. It's incredible. I'm clearly not doing it justice. Claire Zamet's, I think, one of the most skillful leaders at understanding what women must do to align our mindset, our insides with our external circumstances and really be able to embody our leadership as CEOs. So I'm bringing her in to do that training for you guys. You'll get access to her course. And you also are getting access to Michael's full podcasting training. So you literally, those of you that are staying another year in Leverage, you get access to Michael Neely's full 7-module course on how to launch a podcast. And it comes with question and answer calls with him twice a month where he'll be answering any questions you guys have about launching a podcast. And that's all just totally included in Leverage this year, no extra cost. So we've never actually, it's like $40,000 worth of bonuses. We've never actually included that many bonuses. But we're serious about you guys staying with us. We're also bringing in the 6 implementation days to help you really implement the technology. And any questions that you guys have about that, you can email Sylvia. She'll get you the whole list. But we're just really excited to continue to support those of you guys that are staying. We do have a few minutes left. I can stay till the top of the hour. So Mara, you've had your hand up for a while, very patiently. How can I help you?
Hi.
Hi, sweetie.
Okay. I'm trying to say this succinctly. I'm having a challenge describing to people what the benefit in my program is. So I'm doing like a branding program, but I'm not providing any like design deliverables like graphics or a landing page or anything like that. And so I think people I'm having like a hard time describing the value of it without that piece because
you don't need to provide those things. So what are the 2 or 3 reasons why people would want to brand with you? What are the 2 or 3 results that you can get them from getting that deeper clarity around their brand?
Well, the number one is that there's more alignment with the brand. So it's creating like a cohesive image for your brand. So we're coming up with, I guess the deliverable would be, and I'm just kind of like backtracking, would be that you get like a brand guide with like fonts and colors and all that kind of stuff, but that really enables you to create like a really cohesive looking brand so that people get like a clear picture. And then I guess this is why I'm having the problem with it, because there's
Well,
like
no, this is really important, because what I hear you saying is that you are helping them with colors and design, but you're just not wanting to provide the deliverables. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that, I mean, that's one of the pieces that comes out, but the other piece is just a bigger understanding of, I mean, it's like understanding your energetic imprint and how to align what you're putting out with that energetic imprint so that you end up attracting the people that you want to attract.
So is there a reason why you don't want to just hire a graphic designer to give somebody just like some really basic, like just to get them started with a logo and just like, you know, when I hired my first brand expert, I got a logo and I got a very simple template for my homepage. That's all I got. And if I wanted more, I could go work with a designer or whatever that person recommended. But it wouldn't cost you very much to hire somebody to do that for you. If you're like, how much does your program cost?
It's $1,500 for 3 months.
Yeah, I would actually just charge a little bit more and include those things. I would just charge like 3,000 and just include, because that's the thing that people think they need. It's not that people really need it, but they just want a little bit of handholding in that area. There's two categories that I find branding experts can do really well. I've hired branding experts that are basically helping me with the energetics of my brand so that I can scale. They're helping me understand my customer better. They're helping me understand what it would mean to take women rocking business into being a movement. I actually just got tapped on the shoulder by, do you guys know Amanda Steinberg? She wrote this book called Worth It. I got tapped on the shoulder to be a part of this beta group. She's helping me and several other women like Claire Zamed and Lynn Twist. She's helping us scale our brands. So I'm going to be learning a lot about scaling this year and bringing that information to you guys. Like how do you really build a movement, like an actual movement? So that's one category of branding that does really well. Branding to scale. Here's the energetics. Here's who your customer is. Here's the kinds of taglines that are going to work really well for you. Here's the kind of lead magnet that would work really well. So if that's your focus, you don't have to provide any deliverables, no design at all. But if you actually are touching the color conversation and the design conversation, if that's part of the conversation you like to be in, you will sell more if you just provide people some super simple deliverables. And I would just streamline it so that you can keep that minimal cost to yourself and keep it also minimal back and forth with your client. So you want to be really clear. We're going to do, you're going to get 3 options for logos and you'll have 3 options for revisions. And most people can get to the point where they're really happy with what they have with 3 options and then 3 revisions. If for some reason you need more, then there'll just be an extra fee, right? You want to be really upfront about that kind of thing, you guys, because this is what, like when you start providing deliverables, this is probably why Mara was not wanting to include this kind of thing in her package, because it will blow up into more work than you think it will, right? People will come back a 7th time and go, now that I actually see it with a curve on the left, maybe I want to see it again with a straight line. And it's like, no, you already spent your $1,000 graphic budget, right? So you just want to be really clear, right? 3 options for logos, 3 revisions. If there's any revisions on top of that, there's a fee for those revisions. And and most people can get what they need in that amount of time. And, here's why this is going to be awesome. So knowing that you've kind of got to choose a track, branding for scaling or branding that includes design work, do you still feel like you want to stay in the branding that includes design work conversation?
I mean, I could go either way, honestly. I think it's more just like the work of finding a designer that has some space. Although now that this whole coronavirus thing that happens, it probably would not be that hard to find
It's
one.
not. You're not going to be able to, it's not going to be hard to find a graphic designer that can just do some basic stuff for you. And
Yeah.
it would be a huge, like, it's going to just be kind of like a treasure chest for your company. You know, we've got an in-house graphic designer at this point, and there's no way we'd be scaling at the rate that we are without having an in-house graphics. And so I think it's a worthwhile relationship for you to have anyway. And if you're telling me I want to provide you with, you know, the color palette and with your branding protocols, and you're going to have all the different, you know, phrases that your clients, you're going to have the copywriting guide, that stuff's really valuable. And just providing me a simple logo and a simple template for my homepage that then I can take and I can give that to any other graphic designer moving forward and saying, here's kind of the look that we're going for. It's so valuable.
Yeah, I do. As I'm sort of like processing that while you're talking, I mean, my background is in graphic and web design.
I thought
That's really
so.
like
Yeah.
the area of branding that I know, but I'm not wanting to do the fulfillment. So I like what you're saying about hiring a designer. And that is like a big part of what I'm talking about, is that the visual piece, like creating a cohesive visual piece, is actually like a big part in.
Yeah, find
selling.
someone that you love working with. You know, my graphic designer made me that Women Rocking Business sign. She made it from a place called Canvas Pop. We love working, like, it's fun for me to work with her. Like, when I have ideas of, you know, the sort of visual imagery of Women Rocking Business, she's really good at implementing it because we've been working together a while. So I think it's a really beautiful relationship, and I think it's going to add a lot of, you know, it's going to be easy to get people to say yes when you have that little extra service. And, you know, you're paying a graphic designer $35 or $40 an hour, and you're the one project managing that. So just, you know, add your costs to the program so that you're charging for that. Okay.
Okay.
I am excited for you.
Yay.
Mwah, kiss for Mara. All right, you guys, I have a few more minutes. Who else has had their hand up for a while? Sarah Coolidge, what you got?
My question is, I heard you talking about this wonderful top of the line, which I haven't created yet. I've got this. And I think I heard you say people are going to ask you for that. And I want to know more about how we can actually create and sell that if people are not yet asking us for it. Because it's appealing to me. And
yeah.
Saying, Sarah, I want more. No one's doing that quite yet anyway.
Yeah. So you want to get good at mentioning it. You know, have you guys ever been at a retreat, a Women Rocking Business retreat, and heard me mention VIP days? Raise your hand if you've ever heard me mention VIP days. In fact, I guess nobody here has nobody's taken me up on it yet, but you never know. Right. But it's like, right now, I'm actually not actively searching for people that want to do VIP days because my schedule's been quite full. But whenever we are in a place where it's like, I have a little extra time, it's great to have a little bit of extra cash flow, and I love doing them. That's part of what I love about VIP days, is going deep with people for a day and getting people some pretty big results in just a day. So it's really the kind of thing that you're going to want to mention. You know, you're going to want to mention that it's available during a group call or when you're on with a client. You know, just mention, like, you may want to consider doing a VIP day with me at some point, or you may want to consider a few months of private support from me at some point, or, you know, you may want to consider going a step deeper. Here's what we could do in that time. Here's the kinds of results we could create together, right? Just let me know if you want to talk more about that, right? Because you're not going to hard sell clients that have already spent thousands of dollars with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I had taken 20 minutes with a slideshow to outline the leverage program on today's call, you guys would have been like rolling your eyes at me, right? You're like, Sage, we know what leverage is about. You know, just tell us the basics. Tell us what's extra about it, right? Once you actually have clients that are studying with you, the kind of offer that you make them is much more casual. It's much more just the way you would talk to a friend, you know. Anything else would be disrespectful, and it would just feel weird anyway. So that's the kind of thing that you want to be able to just practice casually mentioning and talking about, and then go ahead and put it out there to clients. Do you know what you'd like to put out first, whether it's a VIP day or a little bit more private time with you?
Well, part of the reason that I'm attracted to this is since I started my program, I have completed 3 levels of training in HNLP, which I didn't even have when I sold them the program. And so I feel like, one-on-one, we can really work on some mindset stuff that I never even talked to them about. And I'm wanting to bring that in, and this seemed like it might be a way to do it. So I have
like a mindset deep dive.
Okay, we keep running up against this thing. Let's spend a half a day together, and this
Yes,
or something like that.
Yes, you could do a 3-hour deep dive. You could do like a 3-hour deep dive for 997.
Cool, and then just keep tweaking it and figuring out what that looks like.
Yeah. And whenever we do there's a training in your library around how to sell, like VIP days and deep dives. It's a great training. If you haven't listened to it, it's in your library. I would go listen to it. But it's really helpful to have people do a little bit of prep work, right? Before you sit down with them for several hours, some kind of a more lengthy intake form. So you can really make that time valuable for them.
Great. Okay. It's something new to think about.
Awesome. It's a wonderful way to add a little income bump. Absolutely. Like I've seen a lot of our clients add an extra $2,000 a month just with selling little VIP days or half VIP days and packages of like a 3-session package just to work on a particular topic type of thing.
Perfect.
Kiss for Sarah. Mwah. All right, women, if you did not get your question answered, head over into Facebook and post your question. I'll be on Facebook later tonight answering questions. I want to acknowledge those of you guys who are already love festing, Audrey and Valerie and Sarah and Kia, tagging their board of directors, tagging their incredible colleagues in this program. It's a love fest, and we're going to take that love fest energy right over into the 2020 Facebook group. We have a lot of women on fire in the 2020 Facebook group, and they are waiting for you guys to come on in there soon and introduce yourself and dive in. It's a wonderful community already, and I think something like 82% of you, I can't remember exactly the number, but over 80% of you are staying another year. So as you guys look around at all the faces on the screen, you'll be seeing a lot of familiar faces. So one more time, giving the camera your eyes, giving each other a little nod. Go ahead and unmute yourself and let us know what's the biggest thing you're walking away with.
Inspiration.
Visibility.
Purpose.
Inspiration.
Momentum.
Courage.
You guys are amazing. We will see you on the masterminding call next week and on the implementation day the following week. Mwah. You're awesome. Keep going. Your clients are waiting. I promise.